Hi everyone, and welcome to the Say As It Is with Pete podcast series. I'm Pete, your host, and each week I will bring you some frank and honest conversations covering various topics from learning and development, apprenticeships, funding, HR, strengths, recruitment, ESG, well-being, ED&I, employability, and much, much more. So let's get this week's episode underway and say as it is. Thank you for tuning in as always, and this week's episode is on the apprentice wage, and I'm your host, Pete, for Say It As It Is with Pete. Right, I'm going to have an honest, frank conversation around the apprentice wage as we continue to focus on the cost of living in the world. And the cost of living is always in the eyes of the public and the media and everywhere. So let's talk about the apprentice wage. First of all, let's just confirm what the apprentice wage is as of the 20th of March 2023. It is, drumroll please, £4.81 an hour. That's right. Currently, the national minimum wage, and I shouldn't be laughing, but I laugh out of desperation and sheer shock. But currently, the national minimum wage for an apprentice is £4.81 per hour. The minimum apprenticeship wage applies for those aged 16 to 18 and those aged 19 or over who are in their first year as an apprentice. And that comes from the gov.uk national minimum wage site. So, as I said, I am stunned. Well, not really. I'm used to seeing this shocking hourly rate of pay for apprentices, but I do have to say, from the 1st of April 2023, this will increase to an outstanding £5.28. Wow. £5.28. That is really going to make a difference. I don't think so. So let's do a little history 101 on minimum wage for apprentices. Ready? Okay. So, now, I've been dealing with apprentices in further education for a very long time. So the apprentice wage has always been there. It's not been the greatest. But a little bit of history, as I said. From April 2016 to September 2016, the apprentice minimum wage, or national minimum wage, was £3.30. That's right. Back in April to September 2016, people were paying an apprentice £3.30 an hour. So then in October 2016 to March 2017, it increased only by 10p and went to £3.40. Big difference, right? Then April 2017. Now, April 2017 was also a big time because this is when we moved from frameworks to standards. Okay, so we've gone from the old QCFs and frameworks of apprenticeships onto the brand new apprenticeship standards. We're paying the levy as employers. So from April 2017 to March 2018, the apprentice wage went up by 10p to £3.50 an hour. Then April 2018 to March 2019, it went up to £3.70. So a couple of extra pence, so 20p. Then April 2019 to March 2020, it went up by 20p again and went to £3.90. Then April 2020 to March 2021. Now you got to think, we're in the middle of a pandemic now, yeah? So, before I carry on, I'm just going to say this. So up until March 2019, now don't forget, on the 23rd of March 2019, we went into national lockdown. Okay, so that was it. Basically, from the 1st of April, we were in lockdown. And from April 2019 till March 2020, the apprentice minimum wage was £3.90. How could you live in a pandemic on £3.90, even on furlough? And then from April 2020 to March 2021, it was £4.15. And then obviously from April 2021 until now, March 2022, it is £4.81. So it's a little bit of a history. Not a lot of increase from 2016 to 2021. A bit of a shame, really, especially when you look at how much was being paid during the pandemic. £3.90. That was ridiculous. And the normal national minimum wage for 25 plus and overs was lovely £8.21 during that time. And then it went up to £8.72. Currently it's at £9.50. But I am happy to say that from the 1st of April, the national minimum wage in general goes up to £10.42. So interesting, right? How low the apprentice wage is. And knowing that that apprentice wage can be given to anybody that is 16 to 18 or anyone that is aged 19 and over on their first year of their apprenticeship. Now, it's got to be noted that when that person goes on to their second year of an apprenticeship, they've got to fall in line with their current age brackets, which we'll look at that in a minute. But now let's look at this in terms of the cost of living. For someone who is on an apprenticeship and being paid an apprentice wage and is getting that, that rate. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go for an example, and we're going to look at the new rate of pay from April, which is only kind of a few days away before it changes. And I remind you, that new apprentice wage from the 1st of April this year, 2023, will be £5.28. Now, let me state that these costs that I'm about to go through are averages, and they are from a website which I will put in the bio, where I got this information from for this episode. So these are some interesting facts on the average cost of living for an individual in the UK, or in England, for example. Oh yeah, well, in the UK. So now you've got to think in mind, and just remember that £5.28 an hour. Yeah, that's what an apprentice is getting paid, £5.28 an hour. So some interesting facts then. So the average living cost for a single person in the UK is £2,005 per month. Okay, that's it. That's the average cost of living for a single person in the UK. So the average cost of rent for a single person is around about £674. The average cost of gas and electric is around about £120 per month. Water is around about £33.05 a month. Telephone and internet is around about £45 per month. A mobile phone with a mobile phone plan, so this is the airtime and the price of the phone or device, is around about £65 per month. Public transport is around about £160 a month. Food shopping on average for a single person is at around about £300 per month. Council tax for someone who's single is around about £155 per month. Now, okay, so they are some of the average costs based on a single person in the UK. So looking at most apprenticeships, some employers that are paying the apprentice wage only give an apprentice a minimum of 30 hours a week. So that would only make the apprentice earn £686.40 a month. So the average costs added up would probably, if we take away what they earn, so if I add up all of those averages of what it for the cost of living, take away the apprentice wage, that would leave the apprentice with a negative £883.65. But this is not including the cost of, say, a Tesco meal deal, which is around about £3.90 per day. So you've got to think that in an average month, there's about 22 days, working days in a month. So if someone is buying a Tesco meal deal for about £3.90 per day, it's about an £86 cost per month. And if someone really wants to buy a coffee on the way to work, and why wouldn't you? The average cost of a coffee, depending where you go, is about £4.15. Now, if you buy it from a railway station, it's about £3.60, £3.70. It's a little bit more. But if you buy it from a high street, it's about £4.15 per day for a coffee. So that's around about £92 extra a month. So now we're talking that if we add that costing, this is now a massive minus £1,062 per month in the red. Wow. Yeah. Now, some of you may say, hang on, Pete, most people doing an apprenticeship are young people and still live at home with their family. Well, let me stop you there. Yes, in some cases, this may be true, but you have to also think about the different social backgrounds where people come from, and everyone has a different situation and are living in different environments and different situations and so forth. So every situation is different. So you also have to think that some young people are in care, and that as they're hitting that age of an apprenticeship, they are then just falling out of that support bracket for care, and now have to go it alone. So you may have people that for some reason had to leave home as well at a young age, and these are just the tip of the iceberg. So, and again, it all depends on the social economic backgrounds that people are coming from and that social demographics, because you're going to have people that are coming out of care that are going on to the apprenticeship. You've got people that are, their parents may not be working, or, there may be issues going on at home, and then they become the sole breadwinner of the family. So, we're looking, you've got to think about that as well when we look at the apprentice wage. And that 528 is not cutting it. That poor apprentice has only earned £686.40, but they're already £1,000 short for the month. Yeah. How's that going to work? So I'm not saying that we all need to save everyone and fix everybody's problems, but I feel everyone should be equal and on the same kind of playing field when we look at paying a decent wage for apprentices. So can someone explain to me why someone would want to do an apprenticeship if they see that the wage out there and the job being advertised for that role is $5.28 an hour? Are they going to pick it up? Anybody? Now, I have to say that I know there are some really good employers that do not pay this minimum wage for an apprentice, and that they pay national minimum wage of £9.50, or soon to be a lovely £10.42 per hour. And this is the right way forward and the right way to do it. If we pay what the current national minimum wage is, that £9.50, soon to be £10.42 to an apprentice, that is the best way to do it. And I solely recommend that approach. But I'm still stunned in my profession and within apprenticeships when I see an employer pay, the apprentice wage to an employee. This has to stop, people. And this is my advice from working in the apprenticeship industry from the provider side. I've been on the provider side. I'm on the employer side now. But please, I beg you as an employer, if you listen to this, it has to stop. Stop paying the minimum wage for an apprentice. Wake up and smell the coffee. These apprentices are hidden talent and will be amazing for your business, but let's pay them the right wage, okay? Not $5.28, but $10.42, all right? Now, this also brings me on to the point that I previously, not previously, but personally feel that we need to scrap the age pay bracket. And I'll say this again because I muddled up my words, but it's my personal view, and I personally feel that we need to scrap that age pay bracket. So let me recap. Now, from an apprentice to the age of 22, you can pay people the following hourly rates. So an apprentice, as we said, 16 to 18 or 19 and over in their first year of an apprenticeship can be paid $5.28. Anybody under 18 that's not on an apprenticeship can be paid $5.28. Anybody aged 18 to 20 can be paid £7.49. Anybody in the age bracket of 21 to 22 can be paid £10.18. And age 23 and over gets the national living wage at £10.42. As I said, in my own personal opinion, this age bracket from apprentice to the age of 22 needs to be scrapped. And everyone should be paid the national living wage of £10.42. So scrap the 22 below, get rid of it, scrap the apprentice wage, scrap everything else, just pay everybody one set hourly rate. Yeah? Now, we all talk about social recruitment and social responsibility within companies, and now is the time to step up. It's kind of my call to arms. Now, for example, if you're an employer that is paying £11 per hour or more, then you're probably thinking, well, I'm okay. I'm paying a good salary. And you are. But some employers are still attracted to these lower salary ranges when they're employing people because they go straight to the age bracket. What can I pay that person at that age? Well, that's what I'm going to pay them because it's going to save me some money. Now, let me give you an example of a best practice that you could use when employing an apprentice and looking at that apprentice wage example. So, for example, if you pay your staff £11.25 per hour and you want an apprentice, then you want to bring them in at the national minimum wage, national minimum wage of £10.42. And after 6 months or after their apprenticeship, then increase the salary to £11.25 to show them that they're valued within the business and that it's kind of an extra incentive for them to finish their apprenticeship because they know that, although I know my colleagues are on £11.25, I'm on £10.42, but I know as soon as I finish my apprenticeship, I can get to £11.25. Now, you probably heard I'm against the apprenticeship wage, and to any professionals out there that are listening from HR, L&D and recruitment, both employers or training providers, please pay your apprentices a fair and decent wage. As I said, every apprentice should be paid from the national minimum wage, currently £9.50, or pay them the new national minimum wage at £10.42, which will be in a couple of weeks. I also just want to touch on something for employers. And this is also a great incentive for you when you have an apprentice who is up to the age of 24. And if you didn't already know, as an employer, you can claim back the Class 1 NI. So if you've got an apprentice 16 to 24, that NI Class 1, you can claim back. You just need a copy of the apprenticeship agreement that your payroll can then forward on to HMRC. If you want to know more, just reach out and ask, and I'll give you some more advice. Now, also some benefits to remember that apprentices get in the following can help them with the cost of living. So they can get council tax discount, NUS discount for apprentices, 30% off their travel in London, but also check with other local services like First Bus or stage coaches or stage buses, as they may have some schemes as well. So come on, people, step up and pay a fair wage for apprentices and to everybody. Again, everybody should be paid the national minimum wage of £10.42 from the 1st of April. Scrap the apprentice wage and scrap the age bracket range. Well, I could go on for hours about this topic, but I think I've said enough. And I've given you some frank and honest conversation on this. And as this is a say it as it is topic. So I have said it as it is. My call to arms to everybody right now is to lobby the government to scrap the age bracket on minimum wages for 22 to apprentice level. Scrap that and pay everybody the £10.42 rate from the 1st of April. And for employers, if you are thinking of putting apprentices on the £5.28 apprentice wage, stop. Smell the coffee. Don't do it. Because as I've said, with those examples of the cost of living, they won't survive and they won't take up that apprenticeship you're offering. All right. So now that is going to kind of wrap up. I'm going to end it there and kind of wrap up this episode. So if anyone thinks differently on this podcast or on this topic, or wants to join me on a part 2 episode on this topic, then reach out to me via LinkedIn and I'm happy to have a great conversation with you and say it as it is as we do a part 2, only if you want to. But remember, You can listen each Monday as I drop a new episode via here or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So until next week, have an amazing week and catch you next Monday when we look at whether funding is fair or not for apprenticeships.